Hello my loves and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and today we are doing another reading vlog, and this reading vlog is primarily going to be in Poland. Flight is tomorrow morning at like 8 something in the morning, but the book I am taking with me is actually going to be the Discord book club pick for the month, which is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hutchinson. I am kind of nervous, I'm not gonna lie. So I picked this one up as a 99p Kindle deal. I can't remember exactly where. Actually, hang on a minute, I've got it here. 1st of July. Do always go a little bit crazy for those 99p Kindle deals on the first day of the month. I picked this one up because loads of people were just liking it and I was like, you know what, why not? That means I've got a fantasy book on my Kindle if I'm ever in that fantasy mood. It's also got some mystery elements to it, so I'm like, you know, there's a chance that I could like this one. Hesitant though, because I have been really picky with new releases that are coming out that are fantasy releases, going in with zero expectations, but I figured together we would read the synopsis because I did glance at the synopsis during my November TBR, but I didn't actually read it properly. Okay, so it starts off saying, she might win the throne, she might destroy an empire. Either way, it begins with murder. I think it says something that tagline just instantly puts me off the book, because I think I'm just so used to like so many fantasy books being around somebody trying to get a throne and things like this, and I'm just not that interested in it anymore. But we will continue reading. So, after 24 years on the throne, it is time for Burson the Brisk, Emperor of Oran, to bring his reign to an end. In the dizzying heat of midsummer, 7 contenders will compete to replace him. Trained at rival monasteries, each contender is inspired by a sacred animal. Oh wait, I think I remember hearing animals are the magic system in this or something like that. That does intrigue me about this book because I don't think I've really seen that before. But anyway, fox, raven, tiger, ox, bear, monkey and hound. An 8th, the dragon proxy, will be revealed only once the trials have begun. 8 exceptional warriors, thinkers, strategists, the best of the best. Then one of them is murdered. It falls to the brilliant but idiosyncratic Nima Carr to investigate. As she hunts for a killer, darker forces are gathering. If Nima succeeds, she could win the throne whether she wants it or not. But if she fails, she will sentence herself to death and set in motion a sequence of events that could doom the empire. Okay, that sounds a lot better than the original tagline. Remembering that this, I think it's got animal magic. That's quite interesting. It is the start of a trilogy. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. It is 656 pages though. I wasn't expecting it to be this big, and I remember reading that in the TBR video and I was like, what do you mean you're over 600 pages long? Yeah, that's what I'm going to be reading on holiday. Hopefully I like it. Like I say, I'm going in with no expectations. I've heard some really good things. I've heard some really mixed reviews. So I guess I'm going to find out where I fall with this one. I expect quite a bit of B-roll from just wandering around Poland. We're going to the main city, Krakow. Probably mispronouncing it, but I'm pretty sure the British pronunciation, I was looking at this all online. The British pronunciation is Krakow, but then the American pronunciation is different. So I'm just going to stick to what Google told me, which is Krakow. Yeah, so we're going there for the first time. I'm looking forward to it. I had a little look for bookshops and there seems to be so many. Where we're staying, like, you've got Old Town, which is probably going to be where we're going to spend most of our time. And then there's like this little river and we're staying just on the other side of that river. So that should be quite nice to be able to walk over this river every time going into Old Town for the next few days. I'm just really looking forward to it. So hopefully I can get a decent chunk of this book read. I don't even know how long the flight is. I haven't booked this holiday, my partner booked it. So I'm just turning up. Like, that's literally what I'm doing. I'm just like, I'm coming along for the journey. So yeah, I don't actually know anything. The only thing I checked up is food and books. That's all I checked. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really nice. Like, it would just be nice to have a few days away, and then fingers crossed this book is going to really surprise me. I don't know, I'm feeling more excited. I have to admit, I was so nervous about this book, and now since I've read that synopsis, I'm actually quite intrigued. I wasn't expecting that. So, oh, you know what we should do? Let's read the first sentence together, because I've been doing this on and off. I am not consistent with it, but let's just read the first sentence together. And actually, is my book even downloaded? I think I downloaded it. Oh, okay, I downloaded it on my Kindle, but I've not downloaded it on my phone. Part 1, an invitation. Once they made sacrifices here to appease the eight. Okay, well, I'm actually kind of hopeful. What if this is the start of a new fantasy trilogy that I'm actually really in the mood for? Like, I would love that because, like I said, I've been burned by so many new release fantasy books that I would actually really love one to really get me excited, but I just haven't been. I think the most ones that I've liked or that are newer, that aren't continuing a series, was series that I was picking up a few years ago, that I was starting a few years ago. So the last two that I remember that I really enjoyed was the Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett and the Library trilogy by Mark Lawrence, The Book That Wouldn't Burn, and like with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Those are the three new ones that came out that I really fell in love with. But since then, I've just not been doing as well with newer fantasy books, especially some of the sequels I've been reading this year where I'm like, okay, well, I'm now not continuing on with the series at all because I didn't like it. I would really love a new fantasy series to get me excited. So hopefully this is going to be the book to do that. But right, I have got loads I need to get on with and do. So the next... I DNF'd The Raven Scholar. I didn't even get that far into it, I'll admit. I think it was like up to page 30, maybe just after, and I just couldn't do it. The thing is, so the book is meant to be an adult epic fantasy, and it's just not written that way. Instead, this comes off as very young adult, which I don't mind young adult book, but I have to admit, apart from select authors, they're not books that I'm gravitating towards. Like new fantasy releases, I already mentioned, have been a bit hit and miss for me anyway. And so having one that's also a young adult, I have to be in the mood to be reading a young adult book, and I just wasn't expecting that. Being told it's going to be adult epic fantasy, I'm expecting the writing style to be a lot different, the world building to be a lot more intensive, and I just don't feel like we were getting any of that. And yes, okay, only 30 pages. I shouldn't really comment on the world building because that could definitely be built upon throughout the book, and so could definitely get better. But what I can say from the first 30 pages is the writing style itself. Also, if the sound is a little bit like weird and echoey and stuff, we are in the hotel room. We made it to Poland. The first day was honestly just a lot of like getting to the hotel, getting food, just relaxing. Food is amazing here. Like, it's so good. 3 croissants, actually. So from the image that I showed you, it was pistachio croissant with a matcha pumpkin latte. That was my partner's, but it looked really cute. So, and we also tried a white chocolate and raspberry croissant. That was the best. And then I also had a brie, parma ham, and that heated croissant. Honestly, the amount of croissants I've eaten already, insane, but so tasty. And then dinner. Oh, spectacular. Like, we ordered basically 3 mains for the 2 of us. So worth it. It was absolutely delicious. I was stuffed afterwards, and I cannot wait to go out today, do more food, because loving it. Anyway, so yeah, so we made it here. So if the sound and everything is a little bit off, you know why. But anyway, The Raven Scholar. So in the first 30 pages, what got me was the writing style. Now, as some of you may know, I'm quite fussy with writing style. If I don't get on with it, I will DNF a book pretty early on. And this writing style just felt like the author didn't trust you with anything. There were moments that were being over-explained because they didn't trust that we could pick up on an implication, and it was so frustrating. Like, one moment the main character is chatting with this guy and he goes, so yeah, I'm gonna be in the gardens later. Clearly as a, if you need anything, this is where I'm gonna be, I've let you know, because otherwise why else would you tell somebody, right? And then literally straight afterwards, Yana's thinking to herself, oh, so that I heard the implied implication that he didn't say that I could go there later if he needed me. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand why you're telling us this. We're adults, like, you're aiming for adults. why have we been told this? So I just feel like there's been too much hand-holding to the point where you just don't trust the reader to make these connections on their own, which, I don't know, I mean, I guess I can understand a little bit more with like middle grade and young adult, but even then, like, it's a little bit overdone. Then also characters, like, she's 16 years old, and from the synopsis, we know that she's going to be the one to try and solve this murder, and I'm like, really? Out of everyone you've got, you're gonna get a 16-year-old to do this. Normally, I'm the sort of person to go, this is fiction, it doesn't matter. My point on this is, why is she not an adult if we're doing an adult book? Like, she could be aged up, and that would make a little bit more sense to me. So I fully think this is a young adult book. Editing Kirsten, just jumping in here to say that I did get a couple things wrong, and I just want to clarify. So we are following Yana. Yana is not named on the synopsis, and I didn't recheck the synopsis at any point while I was reading this book. All I had in my mind was, we've got a main character that's going to be doing an investigation, a murder mystery investigation, and we've got tournaments and trials and stuff going on. That's true, but it's not the main character we first meet. So the character we first meet isn't named on the synopsis. I would assume they become a relevant character later on, but as we know, I haven't read much into this book. Instead, Nima, the character that is named on the synopsis, we don't meet until chapter 4, and obviously I DNF'd the book before that. When I was editing this, I realised, well, I've mentioned two different characters, Nima on the synopsis and then Yana in my update that I'm currently interrupted. Assumed that I had just misnamed the character, but that's not the case. It is separate characters. So I then skim read 2 chapters to see when we meet Nima. What I think has happened is that part 1 is almost like a prologue to what is going to happen in the rest of the book, but it's just not been named anywhere. Because the tournaments and things that's going to be happening, that I know we are going to be following based on what other people have been saying, happens 8 years after those first couple of chapters that I read. So I feel like there is going to be a time jump happening at some point in this book, but it's not really specified anywhere that this is 8 years earlier, or even just put in, like, you know, a lot of books will do it where they're like, okay, date 2030 or something, and then later in the book it'll be like 2038 for when the trials are starting. There's nothing, which feels a little bit weird considering how much hand holding is done during the actual narrative of the story, but then we're not given that context. I was a little bit sidelined because obviously I'm reading this as an ebook. I don't have any, like, I know some special editions, I've been told, have character artwork of the main character that's doing the investigating, which is very different to how Yana was described, and I don't have access to the synopsis to just like flip to the back of the book and do it that way, which is something I do tend to do. That was on me making that mistake. So my whole little rant about it being a 16-year-old that's solving a murder mystery, that's not the case. And also, if I am correct with the time jump happening later, these characters are going to be adult. This is not the reason why I DNF'd the book though. Why I DNF'd the book is the writing. I didn't like the writing style of the book. It felt really young adult. Maybe it changes if we do get the time jump and the characters are older. Maybe we actually get a more aged up writing style because they're older, so that would be interesting to see. For the start of this book, it wasn't my favourite. What this has taught me though is that I should at least get to like chapter 5 or chapter 6 of a book before I decide to fully DNF, in case there are things that do change and stuff. The only reason why I didn't really bother with this book is because I don't like the writing style at the start of this book. Like, I just couldn't get on with it. So I'll be really intrigued to know if that writing style does change later on and gets a little bit more adult feeling. So knowing this information wouldn't have changed the DNF in any way, but I just thought, for those of you that read the book and you're going, girl, you don't know what you're talking about, facts. I did not know what I was talking about at all. So now I do know that this is what's going on, but it hasn't, I don't know, it's one of those things, like I say, like I'm going to be saying, I've got the book. It's saved on my Kindle. I can go back to it if I want to. It's not what I'm in the mood for currently, and at least I now know what the writing style is like. So if I am ever in the mood just to pick up an easy young adult feeling fantasy, then I can go for this one. But for me, I was just disappointed because I wanted the adult epicness of it, and I'm just not getting that. So yeah, I thought I'd just clarify those couple of little points, but I'll let you get back to past Kirsten having a little whinge about this book. The only thing to me that's going, oh, this is adult, is because of the swearing, which I don't understand why that's been a case now, where we're just like, young adult books don't have swearing in, so therefore this has to be an adult book. Like, that's how it feels like it's been done, which I just don't particularly like. So yeah, I'm not really getting on with that. And then, like, she treats her brother, so they're twins, and she treats her brother like he's so much younger than her, and I'm like, you're the same age. And then she has to remind herself that he's 16. I'm like, you're twins. You would know his age. Why would I? So it's little things like this though. I'm just like, I just don't think this is going to be for me. I'm just going to spend too much time criticizing and not enjoying the book. I'm not the sort of person to hate read a book. I'd rather just not read the book. It puts me genuinely in a bad mood, and I don't want to be in a bad mood on my holiday, so I'm just going to give up with it. From a few people that have been like talking in Discord and stuff, like I've had someone else DNF, but then a few people have enjoyed it and they said, you know, it's a really easy read and things like this. And I do think if you're a little bit intimidated by epic fantasy, things like this, then this could be a good starting off point. Or if you are going from young adult to adult, this could also be a good one because it seems to have a lot of those young adult writing styles that I associate with young adult. For me, this is not what I'm after, and you know, I've already explained yesterday about how difficult fantasy's been for me, so I'm just like, you know what, we're just going to leave it alone. I'm not in the mood for it. Maybe if I fall into more of a fantasy mood later on, maybe I'll come back to it. I mean, it's on my Kindle, it's not going anywhere. For now, yeah, this is not for me, unfortunately. So instead, I did have a 2-hour flight to kill, so I decided to swap, and instead I'm reading a really cute, cozy murder mystery. This is so silly. It is the Lord Eddington series. I have read 2 books out of this series. I've only read the Christmas ones, but I decided that I wanted to start reading and have this cute little mystery series just to break up what I'm reading, dip in and out of. I know what to expect, and I decided I would start from the beginning of this series. I had planned to do this year. I wanted to get like 2 or 3 books into the series this year. It's not happened. So I started off with the first one, which is Murder at the Spring Ball, and it's just so much fun. It's also really interesting to see where our main character Christopher has started. Oh my god, someone's hoovering. Okay, well, someone's hoovering outside. I think it's like one of the cleaners. We're gonna get through this because I'm hungry. I want to go out and eat. But yeah, so we're following Christopher, and he's someone that all his family members are like, oh, he's lovely and stuff, but maybe he's not the smartest egg. He really is quite lovely. I really like following his character. But in this book, we see for the first time his grandfather, Lord Eddington, kind of take Christopher under his wing, and seemingly it's just to do this ball, to celebrate a ball. His grandfather has been reeling from the loss of his wife for the last 10 years, and he's like, I've had enough of this. I want to get back into actually living my life again, so I'm going to host this grand ball, much to the horror of a lot of his family members. He decides to have Christopher help him, which again, everyone's annoyed about because they're like, but Christopher's not your heir. He's not the one that's going to inherit. Why are you doing all of this? And he's like, because he knows how to have fun. That simple. Like, Lord Eddington is just a really quirky character and I really like him. Unfortunately, when they're at the celebrations, the ball's all swinging and everything, somebody dies, someone gets murdered, and we've also had a second murder. So I'm up to I'm in the middle of a chapter. I'm up to page 105, chapter 18, and I'm just having so much fun. I'm already almost halfway through the book. Like, these are really quick murder mysteries. They're really cozy and silly. They're set in the 1920s, so we've got a lot of influence from Agatha Christie in this. There's also mentions of Sherlock Holmes, like Christopher's, like when he realizes that his grandfather is getting him to also assist in the investigation. I should say, Lord Eddington is an ex-police officer and he did really well. He rose up really high within the ranks, so him investigating the murder that's happened at his ball, well, he shouldn't be doing it because he's no longer police, he's retired, but he has the capabilities of it. And throughout the series, it's a massive series. Each book is a different case with Christopher and Lord Eddington. So Christopher's kind of become his little assistant, almost like his Watson to his Holmes, you know? So I love all of that. Except in Christopher's case, he's not a doctor, so he hasn't really got any other expertise to give. He's just kind of like bumbling his way through things, but somehow manages to make it work and find clues and things, which does end up solving the case. Like, it's just really easy reading, very silly, and I just really like it. Like, this is a sort of cozy mysteries that I enjoy. So if you are looking for a good cozy murder mystery, I would say try this series. Like, it's an indie self-published series and I just think it's a lot of fun. So that's where we're at. We've just had the second murder happen, and yeah, we're gonna go from there. I don't have any suspects. Well, we just had some random interruptions. I'm going to go and leave it there. Unfortunately, the Raven Scholar didn't work, but there we are. Okay, it's time to go out and get some lunch, and yeah, I'll see you guys in a little while. Poland. Like, we were only there for 2 nights, but it was such a lovely little trip. The food was amazing. Like, both me and my partner are really big foodies, and this trip, like, every single place we went to was consistently good food. Like, it was so well done. So absolutely loved the food out there. My partner's really big on architecture, so he was really appreciating a lot of the buildings that they have out there, and they are absolutely stunning. Just in general, like, it was such a peaceful holiday. It didn't feel too busy at any point. Like, the weather was really decent as well. So we had honestly just had a lovely time. The amount of bookshops they have is also insane. Like, I loved it. There's so many like little ones. Some of them are done as like bookshops / coffee shops, but the way they do their sitting, it's not like you have a set area that's the coffee shop bit. It's throughout the whole bookshop. You've got tables and chairs just kind of dotted around everywhere, so you can literally sit wherever you want and chill out and read or work, do some stuff on a laptop. They even had like a little game board section. Like, it was so good. Each bookshop had its own little personality to it. There was only one bookshop that I came across that did just English books, and everything else was Polish books. Some of the bookshops had like small little English sections, but yeah, absolutely stunning. I was really tempted to pick up a book while I was out there, especially that Dracula edition and the Macbeth, to be fair, because I have just a standard Penguin Black Classic for Macbeth. So I was really tempted, but I was good because I was like, I already own both of these books. I already have a couple of editions of Dracula. I don't really need another one. I was tempted though because it was so good. But yeah, I didn't pick up any books or anything out there, but yeah, it was so good. Like, I really enjoyed it. We both said we would go back. Reading wise, I have finished Murder at the Spring Ball. Honestly, I think I've got the title of this book wrong, but for some reason in my head it's Murder at the Spring Ball. I would love if it is right, but I have a feeling I'm wrong, and I've been saying it wrong the whole time, and I've like written it down in my reading journal and stuff, and I think I've got it wrong. I should have just checked, but I've committed to it. But yeah, so I finished that book. Honestly, it was just an easy breezy read. I did feel like, especially towards the end, not the plot line, because I had no idea who had done this. I did not guess it at all. I just felt like, I feel like I've read this before, because the way it ends is very similar to the way it's ended in the 2 Christmas mysteries that I've read, and there are certain phrases that I was like, I swear I've read this before, but I checked everywhere and I haven't read this one before. I was thinking about it and I felt the same way when I was reading the Christmas mystery of this series last year. This is the 3rd one that I've read in the series. I've been reading them 1 per year. I definitely want to like maybe do 2. I wouldn't read more than that per year though. These are really fun, cozy little times. I think they're great for a little holiday trip. Like, you don't have to focus too heavily on the book and you can still know what's going on in them, but it's just really easy and kind of fun, and I like the characters, but they are similar throughout the whole book. So Christopher's got this brother, and in every single book that I've read so far, he's suffering from heartbreak from yet another girlfriend that's left him and stuff, and it's just kind of silly. Like, Christopher does kind of pick fun at his brother for this. Christopher's also always being told, you know, they're so surprised that he does so well at things, because generally speaking, he is a really lovely person, but he's not exactly excelling anywhere, and so his family are just a bit like, oh, he's just Christopher. He's not going to amount to much, but he's our Christopher, or Chrissy as they call him, which Christopher doesn't like. But it's just fun and silly, and it's like poking fun, but it's done not in like a malicious way. It's just done in like that family, we still love you, we're just kind of poking fun at each other sort of situation. But when it comes down to it, you'll do anything for each other, and it's just really wholesome in that respect. And then of course we have the murders going on, and the mystery side of things. Like, as much as yes, there are murders happening, it never feels high stakes. Like, it just feels like a cozy fun time. So I really like it. I really enjoy this series. I wouldn't recommend reading loads of them back to back. I would definitely recommend like taking a break between reading the books, just because there are moments where the characters do say very similar things and things like that, so you'll probably pick up on it, and I guess that could be a bit irritating, especially if you're reading several in a row. It could also be that I have read the first book, and then I think there's like 6 books in between, and then the Christmas book, and then like another 6 to 7 books in between the next Christmas book, and and instead I started off with the 2 Christmas books, which you can read the Christmas books out of order. You do not need to read this series in order, at least definitely for the Christmas ones, you don't need to read in order. It does the same sort of thing that last week when I was reading the rom-com, The Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, like how that was just a palette cleanser fun time. This sort of series does the exact same thing but make it cozy mystery instead. I would always recommend, especially if you're just after a book where you just want to cozy up with a cup of tea, you just want something that is kind of like entertaining but nothing you have to focus on. This is a really fun little mystery series to do that with, so I enjoy knowing that this series is massive, that I can just dip in and out of this as and when I need a cozy little mystery. And again, it's kind of like picking back up on, I need to get back into my mysteries. Like, I read so many good mystery books last year. I was really into cozy mysteries, and this year I just haven't. I kind of fallen off the bandwagon. I've been focusing a lot more on the horror. Some of that was because of Battle of the Booktuber and being given like so many extra books that I had to read for the year, and some of those being cozy fantasy, and those cozy books just not working for me. So some of it was that, and just giving myself a break from cozy altogether. But it was really good to read this one and be like, yes, you know what, maybe cozy fantasy isn't working for me, but mysteries still really do. So I'm very excited to get back into those. Like, there's so many series that I really enjoy that I want to get back into, like the Veronica Speedwell series. I read 2 books in February for Rainy's readathon, but I haven't read anything since, and that's a series that I really enjoy, so I want to get back into that. And just other little mysteries, like I've got a few series where I'm just like, I could continue things and stuff, but I haven't, so I would really like to do that. Reassured me that I do still like cozy books. Like what I was saying about Ravenscroller, about how I'm just really fussy about new fantasy books coming out, and unfortunately that did extend to cozy fantasy books as well, but it's nice to know that I do still enjoy some cozy books, mainly the mystery jar. It's looking like, yes, Hermione saying hi. She had a couple days without me. I would say she's being extra clingy. No, she's normally quite clingy. But yes, I have DNF'd the Ravenscroller. It is a shame, and it may be something that maybe I get back into. There was one comment the other day about how there's a twist in chapter 3, and that really intrigued them and stuff. So maybe I just need to actually give this book another try and spend a little bit longer than just the 30 pages. And now I know what to expect from the writing style, maybe I'll be fine with it. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a book that it's a writing style that I wasn't expecting. I went into it thinking it was definitely going to be more adult than what it actually reads as, but it to me just feels like young adult. So when I'm in the mood for that sort of young adult fantasy, then I'll pick up this book. And maybe it does change over time, maybe the writing style adapts a little bit later into something that's more adult leaning, but yeah, at least I know what to expect from this book. I mean, it's saved on my Kindle, it's not going anywhere. I can always dip back into it at a later date, but I now know what to expect from it, but I just was not in the mood for this sort of fantasy that felt very muyou like a young adult book. So yeah, unfortunately that's a bit of a miss, but I mean, some people have been really loving it though, so do you want to get down? No? Okay. But yeah, that's it really. That brings us to the end. A little short vlog for you, just covering the little holiday trip with lots of little b-roll from the holiday. Honestly, I did intend to take more b-roll while I was out, but I was just in the moment enjoying the time, and yeah, it was great. I actually didn't even read much across the holiday. It was mainly I finished Murder at the Springtime Ball when I was on the flight home. It was a 2.5 hour flight. You want to get down? I actually finished it as we landed, and this is only a short book, so I had read up to where I said in the last update, and then I didn't read anything else until it was time to fly home. But that was really nice because it just meant that I was enjoying being in my holiday and all the different things we were getting up to, so that was really nice. But yeah, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep rambling on about not much really. I've got to update another video, and then the next video you're getting after this is going to be a daily vlog, so that's coming out. I'm going to be filming that one tomorrow. So yeah, I hope you've been... I don't know why I did that. I just managed to... I was like, I'm moving my fringe out of the way and instead managed to get it everywhere. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You have to let me know, have you ever been to Poland? It was honestly an absolute joy, so very happy with that. But yeah, okay, well, let me know if you've also read Ravenscotter and what you thought of it. That'll be really interesting. So far on Discord, it seems to be like mixed. Some people, like someone else DNF, a couple of other people saying it's fine, but at least it's an easy, it's not anything amazing, but they found it an easy read. And then a few people are really enjoyed it. So be intrigued to see what you think. Yeah, okay, right, I am gonna go. So again, thank you so much for watching. I think if you've made it this far, then let's put, what do I want to put? I mean, we could just do the Polish flag because there are loads of flags on the emojis. You could put, weirdly enough, a potato, because all the food that we were having, like we had potato cakes with goulash, that was absolutely lovely. We had these potato dumplings, so it's dumplings made out of potato, and oh, they were so good. Like honestly, the amount of potato we ate on this holiday was extreme, so you could always put that. But yeah, I mean, I guess just put anything really, just to let me know that you were here if you've got nothing to say. But thank you. I really appreciate all of you that take the time to watch these videos, to comment, to interact in any way. Like, I truly appreciate it. An extra special thank you goes out to all of my Patreons. It's been, as always, an absolute pleasure to have you over there, so thank you so much. But yes, okay, I'm gonna go. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing and commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links, anyone I've mentioned, Discord, Patreon, everything is always linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.